The Magnetic Lasso Tool just makes selections that snap to the edges of an element you trace. The edges, kind of like the content-aware tracing tool, it just detects differences in pixels to detect what an edge is. You can see here the white pixels here compared to the darker pixels of the background. That's a detected edge. So if I were to just click and drag, Photoshop is going to try to detect the edges as best it can. And the only difference between this and the content-aware tracing tool is that that's going to make a path or a shape, and this is going to make a selection, right? And you can turn a path or shape into a selection easily, but this is just another way to do it where you don't even have to do that second step, right? Once you have your selection, all the contextual taskbar options are the same as the other two lasso tools. Top options pretty much the same, except we got width, contrast, and frequency options here. Obviously you got your preset options. This is kind of like the Pathfinder options in Adobe Illustrator. The first one is for new selection. If you have this, whenever you make a selection, it's gonna get rid of whatever old selection you had and have a new one. If you choose add to selection, obviously you have an active selection here, and then say you make another selection, say we choose the beak this time, it'll keep your first selection and then this will be added to it. If you choose subtract from selection, obviously it does exactly the opposite as add to. It will subtract it. So say I make a circle here, it's gonna subtract everything that you selected. So say I want to get rid of this pupil part, boom, if I come in here, it'll remove that. Right? And then finally, we got intersect with selection. You can see here, right? So it's only gonna keep that part where both selections intersected. Just that little part there. So feather, this just softens the edges of the selection. Anti-alias just smooths edge transition. So what the width does is it set distance from edge to consider for a path. The contrast is sets the contrast of an edge to consider for a path. And the frequency just sets the frequency at which points are added to the path. So that means how many points are added. If I would slide this all the way down to 8 or 6, when I click and drag, you can see it's adding a lot less points. But if I brought it all the way up to 100, you can see it's adding a lot of points. And we also have use tablet pressure to change the pen width. This is if you got a Wacom tablet and you press on the pen. The harder you press, it changes the pen width. Last but not least, it's got select and mask. So once you've made your active selection, you can click on select and mask. It opens up a whole new window where you have your selection, your active selection. You got some tools on the right. You got quick selection tool, refine edge brush tool, the regular brush tool, the object selection. Then you have the lasso and polygonal lasso tool, and then the hand and zoom tools. Then over here you got view mode. You can change, you got onion skin, marching ants. You can have an overlay with a specific color, on black, on white. All those. You can show edge or not, show original or not, real-time refinement, high quality preview. It's also got some presets. You can load or save them. Then there's refine mode. You can do object aware or color aware. You'd want to use color aware if there's a lot of color contrast in your image. You got edge detection, global refinements like smooth, feather, and contrast, and shift edge. And then finally, you got output settings. You can choose what to output this to. Say you want to output your selection to a new layer. You can do a new document with a layer mask, new layer with a layer mask. You can output this as just a layer mask itself or a selection. Once you click OK, so now I got just whatever I had selected as its own layer. It didn't touch the original layer, right? We just have a new one. If you got any questions or comments, shoot them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.